What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over some Life is Strange fan theories that either were never confirmed or never ended up happening. So I thought this would be kind of a fun video to do, having just replayed the remastered collection of Life is Strange. Coming in at number one, and these aren't ranked, these are just kind of in the order that I think of them, is the homeless woman behind of Two Whales Diner is actually Max in an alternate universe, alternate timeline. I loved this idea back in the day. Now, a lot of these theories I remember reading, I remember watching videos of on YouTube back with Life is Strange. There were some incredible theories, and I wish some of these turned out to be true. This one is probably, if I did have to rank them, my number one, because I just love the idea of her actually being Max. The signs were all there. In my opinion, every single sign that the homeless woman was actually Max was there. Her face, like literally the face model, looked a lot like Max. I think honestly it's even more refined now in the remastered collection, where you could even more tell these two are kind of cut from, you know what I mean, they're pretty darn close to each other. She had the same cereal, right? That was one of the main driving points. The cereal that's next to her is a cereal that Max comments on earlier, I think even in that episode, maybe the episode before, where it's at Chloe's house and she says, oh, Chloe still eats the same cereal, and she said, I do too. That's the cereal that she eats, and that's the exact same brand, like the exact same cover of the cereal box that's next to the homeless. So it's like, well, why would you have used the exact same one? Also, you can obviously give her the information that you saw a vision, and she doesn't call you crazy. Now, Warren believes you, immediately, but she doesn't call you crazy. She doesn't, doubt it. She's like, all right, well, thanks for letting me know. She's not there then if you do tell her, right? And then the hurricane hits. She's not there when that's all going down. You actually never see her again after that point. She talks how she's been there for, I believe, over 1,000 years was her words. Now, could that be an exaggeration because she's homeless and because, she's maybe lost track of time? She just feels like, definitely. That's definitely possible. But I really think she knows about the Prescott. She knows about Arcadia Bay. She knows about, I believe she even knows about Rachel Amber to a small extent, right? This girl who's gone missing. So I really love the idea of, in some twisted, warped, alternate universe, maybe when Max loses her powers or whatever, she ends up becoming that, where she maybe still retains this knowledge, or she maybe has some awareness of what's going on, but not fully. So I love that idea. A second one, I guess we'll keep it kind of similar with characters, is that there's just something more going on with Samuel. Now, the reason I kind of leave that ambiguous is because there's a lot of things that could be going on with Samuel, but he's a very interesting character throughout the entire game. If you talk to him every single time you have the opportunity to, you'll learn quite a bit. Well, you'll learn a lot while also not learning a lot. He seems to really have this almost sixth sense of what's going on in the world. He's very obviously tapped in with nature, with animals, but he seems kind of very aware of what's going on. He also never once declares Rachel alive. When you ask him about Rachel, he even talks about, I believe, her body, but he never talks about how she could still be alive. It's almost as if he knew that she's dead. Also, one of the greatest, I think, parts or kind of Easter eggs of maybe the entire game is at the very end of the game, when everybody is going in reverse, right? The music is playing in reverse, the characters are going in reverse. Samuel also, I believe, is going in reverse, but if you stand by him long enough, and again, this was a video that was posted a long time ago, you'll actually hear him talking about squirrels and about seeing animals in the forest or in nature, and he says that in a normal, he says that left to right, on a page, so he's not talking in reverse like everybody else is. So, I don't know, I just feel like there was always something more with him, some sort of connection to what's going on. Not saying he knew about your powers or anything like that, although he does constantly drop the idea of time and things like that in terms of Max whenever you talk to him. So I just have always felt like there's 100% more going on with Samuel than meets the eye. Another popular theory or theories is the connection between Rachel and Max. So there's actually quite a few of these. I remember seeing theories back in the day that Max maybe didn't even exist in the first place. While Max was a character and we knew of her, with Chloe, she disappears or she leaves, right? She goes to Seattle and she almost gets replaced by Rachel. And then Rachel disappears, okay? And then Max re-enters when she wears all of the clothing and all that stuff. Everybody kind of just refers to her because of how similar they are. They are actually talked about quite a bit that Rachel and Max are pretty closely, in terms of how they act and stuff. So there was always this kind of seed where it's how tight are these two characters together. Now, again, I've seen theories before that maybe Max didn't exist in the first place, considering the Jane Doe shirt that she was constantly wearing, obviously the doe in general. But then there's obviously also theories of the doe in and of itself, right? The actual animal, that is Rachel's spirit animal, but then it kind of got transferred over to Max. And so again, kind of the connection there. Also, I guess you can look at the idea of the tornado in the first place. These two, Max and Rachel, obviously very influential. The game makes you believe, as it goes on, specifically, I would guess, even at the very, very end, that Max is to blame because of messing with time and because of Chloe for the tornado. But you also do have hints that it could be, in fact, Chloe says it herself, it could be Rachel's, revenge. Rachel had caused that, or what happened to Rachel is what ended up bringing out that tornado in the first place. And that Max's powers are almost like I don't know, like a counterpart, or just a way for her to handle the situation, maybe save Chloe, maybe save Arcadia Bay, but that these two characters are very, tightly aligned. I love the theory back in the day that, not, it is kind of depressing, but I did love the theory, or the idea, that Max wasn't actually real, and these two characters, Rachel and Max, were maybe, they were the same person, and they just kind of, like, it was more of like a spirit. I guess the spirit animal thing would come into play there. And then speaking to the Rachel tornado thing too, going to that, I like that idea. I like to actually believe that is, the cause of it, because again, the game plays around, even Chloe, I guess the characters Chloe plays around with, right? Like, who is really to blame? And then even when you step outside of what the characters are saying, you say, okay, well, Max got these powers by trying to, or actually by saving Chloe, right? So who is actually to blame for this? Is it Max altering time? Is Chloe destined to die? She brings that up at the end too, where it's like she's died or has come close to dying so many times throughout the game. Is it kind of fate that she's supposed to do it? Again, is Max's time travel the reason why, this is actually playing out? Or is it something to do with Rachel? I like the idea of it kind of being because of what happened to Rachel. She's almost getting, now, again, it's actually kind of dark, but her getting revenge on the town for or Arcadia Bay in general, for what has happened to her. So to me, those are kind of the biggest things. There's other ones. There were talks of like Warren secretly not being the greatest person. That's also kind of hinted at the ending, when you're kind of going through your inner demons and these characters are talking. Warren is one of them, and he seems very aggressive in terms of almost like a stalker-esque kind of person. So there's kind of leanings into things like that. But to me, these are the biggest ones. I really would have liked some of these to come true, specifically some sort of really big Max and Rachel kind of revelation throughout the game. I would have liked a nice little nod at the homeless woman, being Max, which, by the way, I think it's possible, considering realities have obviously like overlapped. It's actually the entire thing of the 5th episode. A lot of the stuff that happens in the 5th episode cannot happen unless you're almost, not even almost, unless realities are folding into each other, because some things that Max did in one reality is now affecting, like David coming to rescue her, it's affecting the reality she's currently in. So all of these things have now kind of crossed over. It's very possible characters or people could have crossed over as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you're all subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below, along with our Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.